Welcome to Transit Talk, Human Design Transits, real talk in real time. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Jess. We meet up about every 6 days to explore the current human design transits and how they're actually showing up in our lives. And we'd love for you to join us.
We're talking energy in the moment, what we're feeling, what we're noticing, and what the transits are stirring up inside us and all around us.
So, whether you're joining us live or listening later, we're glad you're here.
Let's get into it. Okay. So, Jess, you are the sun representing the energy of Gate 43. Tell me about what you're wearing today, Jess.
What's going on? Okay. So, full disclosure, it is cold here in Florida for like the first time ever. I think it was 51 degrees this morning.
Oh
And
my
Savannah,
God.
it's dreadful. All the iguanas are falling out of the trees. I'm like, I can't leave my house.
Oh,
um, so yeah, today I need comfy, cozy sweater. And then I thought, how cool for Gate 43 because part of this channel, it's that genius freak, right? And with this energy for me, I was really thinking about like fashion, how you could have this idea with fashion and something that you're wearing. I don't know if you remember when Target did that whole, what was it, like a colonial look with all the dresses and all the shirts
the
and
pioneer women
the
stuff.
pioneer woman that was just so dreadful, right? So that, insight that they got. Today, mine is my dinosaur sweater.
Are you like getting insights into the reptilian brain of the iguanas falling out of the trees?
Yes, these poor iguanas. And then we also have in the background that light bulb to really represent the energy of this, that it is that insight, it is that moment of, and you can see the picture I chose, the man's actually holding it with his hands. And you're like, where did this come from? There's like almost a cosmic, from whatever it is for you, like that God universe insight that comes through and then turns on this light bulb. And there's this knowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely a cool thing. Like the fingers are providing the um electric frequency, right? And we
Mhm.
do have electricity, electric currents in our body. We just don't know what to do with them most of the time. So I'm loving this because this is one of the only three times where the transits of the sun and earth gates actually form a channel. So I
Mhm.
am grounding us with this energy of the other end of the channel. So gate 23, it is the gate of assimilation. It's also known as splitting apart, but it's often talked about for simplifying, right? This idea of the it's a throat gate, and the gate 23 says, I know. And it has
Mhm.
this way of splitting things apart, breaking them down, and making them simple for others. So, in the process of doing this whole transit report, there's so much that went on in the last, like actually in the beginning hours of this transit. That was like, hello, lady, remember at the beginning of 2025 when you picked that word of
Simplification.
simplify in 2025. That was
Yeah.
my thing, right? It's still
Mhm.
hashtag on so many things. But somehow this process of understanding the transits, which I wrote a blog post about at the very beginning of this transit year about how understanding the transits can really help us to simplify our lives. And we
Mhm.
can use this knowledge to make things easier. The whole purpose of these transit talks, when I first had this idea, and we talked about taking my transit report that I was doing in the Intuitive Human Design group and encouraging people to talk in the comments, turning it into our dialogue here together, right? The whole
Mhm.
purpose was to give people a space where they could show up and talk about how this energy is feeling or what it might feel like to them, or even what the last one felt a little bit, and how we can look at this new energy to move forward. But it has somehow turned into this huge thing for me personally,
Mhm.
where I don't know if people realize, and it's not, this isn't about anybody saying, oh, wow, Kathy, whatever. But I spent a lot of time writing the transit report, getting it
Mhm.
posted, then figuring out how to do, I use AI to write that cosmic weather report. because I have a template I've made, and then I read all this stuff to it and I haven't put it into the template form and do all this thing. And I was texting you just last night, so you know this. But there was I think there was an upgrade with AI, and it was like, when you have somebody who does stuff for you. Like, have you ever had a new assistant all of a sudden and
Yeah.
you're, oh my God, I forgot how much that other person just knew me and I didn't have, I don't know. AI is just like whacked right now. And part of it is also, I think I don't know about you, but I'm just so sick of AI. I'm
Hmm.
so sick of everything I read and hear, like hearing people talk and being, I know you're reading AI. And I just kept reading these, of course, AI generated cosmic weather reports that I was creating with my template and my information. And I was, oh, this just sounds so icky. And I just don't want to do it. I'm just so over all of it. And I messaged you and I was like, I'm not doing it. And this is really the energy that I'm in right now is how can I split these things apart and
Mm.
restructure and really find, this foundation of simplicity with this energy that can ground me with the energy of the insights and the breakthrough. And it's funny because you said something about fashion, and that's so where I am right now because I have been going through my closet and doing this thing that for me, is play, right? I love to play with clothes. And I have been going through and clearing out all the stuff. And even today, I put something on and I was like, this isn't really, because I'm trying to make all these things work again. And how can I make this feel more like me? And I'm just being ruthless. I'm just, no, this is not me. It's not me anymore. It's too much work. Yes, it's cute. Yes, it's comfortable, but it's just not me. And I'm just getting rid of so many things in the process and it feels really, really good.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So we're splitting it apart. We're splitting all this stuff apart.
Yes, yes, it's interesting. I
Mhm.
actually went through the other day and deleted upwards, I think it was like 70 something different Telegram chats I was in and other groups and things. I'm going
Mhm.
through and I went through my WhatsApp through everything. I don't need to be in all these spaces and all these things, really coming back to that place of what's me and what's not me, what's correct, what's not correct. And it was
Yeah,
really interesting.
this is individual energy too. It's
Mhm.
this individual energy. Um, and it's a channel of deafness, right? It
And
doesn't
it's
really
death
hear what
too.
anybody else is saying. Yeah. And I didn't even look to see if we're live in the group. Let me look.
Oh, let me check.
Here, I'll check. I'll check. I don't know if you want to, are you ready to share your little
My graphic. And it's so funny you're talking about simplifying. And as you're saying that, I'm like quickly pulling up the images, putting them in, typing them.
right?
um, yes, I am ready to share. Would you like to see the yellow graphic first, or do you want
Yeah,
to
let's
do the
go.
chart?
Does that feel good to you? The yellow one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here
I feel
we
like that's a good
are.
place to start with the overview. And here we are. The whole world has this feeling of definition in the throat and the ajna and connection. And I saw you posted yesterday about this feeling, how this feels for you,
Mhm,
because you have the triple split where your head and ajna is defined with this split there. I
mhm,
have complete openness up there. Well, I have a gate defined in my head, but I mean, I don't have either of those centers defined, and it's connecting that to my already defined throat. So,
mm. So I'm actually single definition right now, and it
yeah,
feels delicious.
yeah,
Yeah.
you feel like single definition, right?
I,
Yeah.
I feel, yeah, right now, because everything's kind of coming through. It's very interesting because the last time we were in this transit, when it was the sun in 23, there was a lot of melancholy for me. There was a present, kind of tune into the energy and how it's feeling for me. I did a lot of crying. There was a lot of like sadness related to this. Especially the energy of where people have had these beautiful insights and breakthroughs, but they haven't been able to communicate them. And it almost feels this piece of, this is something actually Orion said, where he said it's like it feels like this divine piece of love that you're given, but if you're not able to articulate it in a way, it gets lost, it gets wasted. um, and so for me, the other way felt there was a lot of that melancholy, which is also normal with those individual gates as well. But this time it feels more aligned. And I think part of that too is with this energy Ra talks about. This is a tricky one, especially the 43. And then into the whole channel, it's because you have to be correct in your type, in your authority, in your definition with these insights to be able to have the insight and then to be able to articulate it, right? This has to be correct. So back to this, gate 43. So this is insight and breakthrough. Do you know off the top of your head what the quantum is?
I believe this is the one where it has the same name. It is actually
Perfect.
Insight for Quantum, and then the 23, I'm gonna look because I don't
Okay.
remember. But you keep talking.
And then gate 23 is assimilation, the splitting apart. Again, always a good reminder that these energies are mirrors of each other on the mandala as we're moving through the whole mandala here. And the same thing in the hexagrams, right? We've got the yin energy on the one side, we've got the yang energy on that side. And like Kathy was speaking to before, this is actually one of those activations where both of the gates create that channel. So we have the full channel here, which gives us the feeling of that definition in the ajna and the throat. For me, it connects it, for that split for me. Gate 43 in what is it? Gene Keys is the progression from deafness to insight to the epiphany. And so this is really coming from the place of, being a deaf gate as well, where you're not hearing the thing to really actually having this insight to then being able to take that and create something with it, to be able to do something and have that mutation. In the quarter of mutation, which is through transformation, then gate 23 in Gene Keys, we've got complexity. And, that's kind of that place where we are right now that you were just addressing, especially, oh my gosh, my closet is so complex. There's so much going on in there. There's so many things. And just in our lives right now, a lot like looking around and seeing like, where is there this complexity, right? And then how do we move to this simplicity? And then we get to the highest state, which is the quintessence. And this is the quarter of civilization, which is the purpose fulfilled through form.
Yeah, so it's transmission is the QHD name for gate 23.
Okay.
And because you think that 23, it really is that transmitter kind of energy. So as we have this energy, it's really helping. I always think of gate 43 as the bot, like I think of that channel as the neck of a funnel. And the
Mm,
funnel is the ajna, the
mhm,
ajna. So it's got all this stuff in there and it has to come through this channel, right?
mhm.
And
Yeah.
but the important thing, like you were saying, if we're not correct in this, and that can feel like a rule or something, but if we are just talking our stuff and it's a projected channel, so even though it's connected to our throat, if it's not shared with the right people at the right time, so it's been asked for. These are people who recognize our freakiness as genius, right? Because otherwise, if
Yeah.
we just start walking out to the grocery store and start talking about the energy of the solar flares right now and how that's all asking us to open for this 1111 portal or whatever, people are going to be like, "What?" Some people, but
Yeah.
with the right people, that conversation can be really, there was a really massive solar storm this morning at 5 a.m. that they're saying we're in this energy. So that's just another side note. But
Yeah. And so really coming back to that piece, because it's the channel of structuring, but it's like you said, it's that genius to freak and really, really understanding, that piece of timing. That if someone's talking about AI or talking about technology and they're like, you're crazy, but then 5 years later, everybody's doing it, right?
right.
It's that right timing piece and how pivotal that can be. And, so many people that I've talked to that have this channel, they're like, there's been so many times where they've shared something and it wasn't the right place, it wasn't the right people, it wasn't the right time. And there can be this tendency because there is such a rejection to it. So you're a freak, right? And that they stop sharing. and they stop sharing these insights and these things instead of really understanding. I don't want to say that it's a difficult energy, but just understanding how the mechanics of this energy really, really, truly work. Because, it is a unique knowing. And so Rod talks about that as like you have this knowing. And he talked about a kid in the classroom when you're teaching and you have a question and the kid's there, I know, I know, I know, I know. And then you call on the kid and you're like, okay, what is it? And they're like, oh, I don't, and they
I'm
can't explain it.
I'm laughing because when I was trying to consider all the possible ways I could represent this gate 23 energy, right? I
Yeah.
always like to think of who are famous people. And all I could think of, and I was like, nobody's going to get this except me. But there was this show in like the late 70s, maybe early 80s, called Welcome Back, Kotter. And if anybody is old enough to remember this, it was about this teacher. I think his name was Gabe Kaplan, was the actor, and John Travolta was in that as one of the students, but I can't remember the other student's name, but I think they called him Horshack. And he would, every time they'd ask a question, ooh, 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 they would all laugh at him, because he always knew, and when he knew, he
Mm,
needed to be picked, to say what he knew.
yeah.
And I felt like that was kind of the energy in the shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so there is this knowing you're like, but I know, but how do I explain it? And so this is this energy where you can quickly grasp the surface level, but you don't have that deeper understanding to start. And it's really, really mastering that deeper foundational. For mathematics, you don't start in calculus, you start with 1 + 1 is 2. But then the person,
Mhm.
that has the channel of structuring learns and masters and understands that basic, and then they leave the collective and they go make their own math. You have to be able to like deeply understand. And it was also super interesting to hear him talking about how he experienced this, because there's so many places in human design where there's little tidbits that contradict themselves. And so I've noticed a lot of people ask, when did you listen to this? When was this information from? In what stage was raw? Because he also had this energy. And so he was like, I have the surface understanding, but then he had to go into the deeper like explanation, being able to explain that. And sometimes a couple of the things shifted in his understanding, which is really cool.
Yeah, and he had the he had the genius to freak channel, didn't he? I'm
Mhm.
remembering. It's funny how many human design teachers I have this channel. I believe
And yeah,
Chaitan has it,
yeah,
and his wife has it, right? Doesn't Carola have it? And yeah, there's just a lot of yeah, lots of people have it. And
lots of
so
people.
it's one of those channels that I used to think, oh, if only I had that channel, then I would be, But yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's what you don't want it. You don't want it.
No, the way I cried last time, I was like, these people have so much beautiful insight. They can't get it out. I was so sad.
And
I
well, the individual energy does have melancholy, right?
I really felt the melancholy in that last transit. So, but
Yeah.
even with Ra, if you think about human design, when he channeled human design, he's like, yeah, I'm a freak. Like, here's all this weird stuff, but I have the understanding, I have the foundations, and I laid that in place. So then I was able to explain it to people, and they're like, you kind of a freak, but okay, we can get on board with this. We can,
Right.
understand this, and yeah, start to accept it. Um,
Yeah. Do you want to share the whole transit
yeah,
little thing
absolutely.
now? Because I really want to talk also about today is 11/11.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's known as a portal, right? The 11/11 portal, which, in angel numbers, 11/11 has a lot of strong manifestation energy or whatever. But we also have Jupiter going retrograde today, and I apologize for not remembering what time. So I'm not sure if I think it happens this afternoon, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's happening in gate 62 here,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if it's going to show my cursor, but 62 is on the throat center as well. So 62 line 5 is known as the line of metamorphosis. That feels really potent on this 11/11 portal day. It's the gate of details, but the line is called metamorphosis because each line of the 6 lines has its own name, as we talk about usually. with the sun and earth gates, but this metamorphosis where it's a retrograde energy in this place. We're going backwards, and gates or Jupiter is a planet that is the biggest planet in our solar system, and it expands everything that it touches. So it's touching this throat center. It's on the throat center. It's impacting this 4323 energy. I feel right now we're being asked to go, whenever we retrograde, we're being asked to kind of slow down, look at the details, see where we want to restructure. And so this is a really good time in this 1111 portal energy to look at all of this. And the energies all work together. We're talking about the ajna and the throat center being defined with this 4323, but they're still bringing in with them, bringing along for the ride that gate 8, that Uranus really impactful, be who you came here to be. You're the individual, right? You are the contribution. And that gate 33, which is where the moon is at the moment, which we might have even moved out of that by now, because if you this more
I
than
just did it probably about 30 minutes ago. So
okay, well now we're already in gate 7, line 1, because I'm looking at that.
okay.
Okay, so we've already shifted now into
We're
gate 7,
7.
line 1, which is not on the throat center, but it's still a
Okay.
new energy there. But really looking at this energy with possibility, sitting with it. And of course, we know that the transits are not telling us to do anything, because our strategy and authority is what tells us that. But they tell us how we feel. We can look at how we're feeling, and we can contemplate that sort of energy. So I'm curious, um, what if you have thought about this Jupiter retrograde at all? Did you know? Is this something you've thought about at all, Jess, or is this
I
new?
haven't. I was just updating my transit on my phone. That's so funny how quickly the moon shifts. It's so interesting. Um, yeah, it feels really beautiful. It's a beautiful, I don't know, for me, retrograde is like testing the bridge and going back and finding those little things that need to be addressed that you maybe didn't know about or you hadn't thought about, and it's bringing that to your awareness in your communications. For me, I think that's a big part of it. um yeah, and it's interesting too because for me,
Where are you calling in metamorphosis through a restructuring?
I'm thinking the thing I'm sitting with is the more the detail side of it,
Yeah,
because normally details aren't my thing, aren't my forte. Um, I feel like honestly, everything is being restructured in my life right now.
yeah,
I mean, there's just so much shifting and so much change. And I mean, every which way I turn, it's beautiful little surprises when you let them happen. But
yeah,
when you allow the space for things to move out of your aura, and when you allow the space for things to exit, and when you let go of things, the things that, potentially you've been holding on to, um, just the way everything's unfolding. I mean, yesterday I went to Miami to go look at locations for the Miami conference we're doing in April. And I just decided to leave early. And along the way, there was an accident. But had I left on time, I would not have made our first appointment because it would have been so backed up. This
mhm,
accident was about 10 minutes ahead of me, so there wasn't too much traffic. And I got there early, and I was like, oh, I have this beautiful spaciousness right now. I'm going to just keep driving and see where I end up. And I ended up at the beach, and I pulled in, and I was, oh my goodness, what a wonderful place to park. There's all these parking was right here by the beach. I wish there was one open. That would be lovely. But I parked and I just, texted some people back, did some things. Someone got in their car, moved out of the first spot right there by the beach and pulled out. And so I parked there and then I walked down to the beach, and just this amazing, beautiful energy and this this deep gratitude for that life had restructured into a place where I'm a different person in a way that allows that spaciousness, that allows that time, that allows, sitting at the beach instead of doing right before we had all our meetings. And then the meetings after that, the people we met were just beyond amazing. And like the spaces we found, and just, it was such a beautiful, beautiful experience, but it's because so many other things have been restructured, and letting go of those other pieces that this was able to flow more easily. And yeah, with the details though, it almost feels like letting those go, because that's always been something for me. Just need to be a bit more detailed, and it's just following it. And that's part of that sacral too. Like, what are you responding to? Where's, which way? How do you do it? So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the exact thing that the Ravi Ching says about line 5, gate 62, line 5, which it calls metamorphosis. This is in the gate of detail. So 62 is the gate of detail,
Mhm.
preponderance of the small in the I Ching.
Yeah.
And line 5 is metamorphosis, and it says, when excellence is achieved, action is necessary. And that feels like it really
Mm.
speaks to what you're saying. And what I'm
Mm.
feeling as well, too, is like it's time to do some stuff. And I feel like the things to do are really coming through today through these insights. But as you said, you're feeling that, sacral, yes, no, I'm feeling this. I had a wonderful conversation yesterday for the Real Human Design Stories that will come out next week on the podcast. And her name's Laura Michelle Wolf, and she is somebody who works in publishing, but she has a great history of, she's a 3/5, so she's done so many different things. It's crazy, right? Um, but we had this wonderful conversation where she talked about projectors specifically and play, and how
Mm.
important it is for us when we feel like nothing's happening for us to just play. And I realized that that is so true. And yet, for me, playing can be a lot of different things. But one of them is I spent all day yesterday playing with my clothes, trying to simplify my wardrobe and make these decisions of, yes, this is a perfectly good sweater, but does it really work for me? And how can I make it work for me? And all that sort of thing in a way that I allowed it to be fun. And I took some pictures, and I'm going to put out a reel about it. I've been doing a reel about this whole process I do with going through my wardrobe. And for me, that's fun. For someone else, that would sound like it would be awful. And I love to help those people with that sort of process. But
Come help me. Come to
right,
Florida.
right, okay, okay. So yeah, that would be a fun thing to do. Maybe I'll come and we can do a little video of me helping you go through your closet.
Oh God, the
And
horror of there's so much stuff in there.
right, we'll do some restructuring,
Oh
some
God, yeah.
find some metamorphosis for Jess.
Yes.
So anyway, but so yeah, that was a fun thing, when I really realized how true that is. And I have all these reminders. I just looked up right now, and I have a thing, and I'll put a picture of it in the comments later because I don't have a way to turn around and show you. But I have this picture on my wall that I can look right at here. And it's a famous picture. A lot of people have seen it. It's a little girl with her arms out like this, and she's in her glory. She's just and she's in the rain,
Yeah.
and it says, remember her, she's still there inside you waiting, let's go get her, right? And so
Mm.
right now for me, this whole thing is just a reminder of like, yeah, let's have fun, whatever it is.
Yeah, I
You
love
feeling
that.
that?
That piece of play. And, this really made me think about, so for the conference, we are doing things very differently. And one of the locations we're going to use is a high-end furniture store.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I'm like, what are we doing? It's mutative. It's different. I was like, are we going to be the freaks? What is happening? But so far, everyone I've spoken to, because it's got beds in there, it's got couches in there, it's 3 levels, beautiful big bay windows. Um, people are, yeah, that sounds great. If I'm like tired and I want to go chill somewhere, I can go nap in a bed. I can go to a different floor, go sit on the couches. It feels more homey. And so the way we're doing this, it feels playful. When we were in there and looking there, and the energy there was play, but there's also this piece of there is that fear that it's like, is this going to be rejected? Is this going to, what are people going to say? What? We're doing a day in a furniture store? It's weird. It's really weird. But I'm excited for it as one of the locations. So it is. Yeah. It's a restructuring
Yeah.
how conferences happen, maybe.
So as I mentioned in the beginning with the restructuring, I love that idea. I love just this weird, I don't mean to call it weird, but it is weird. It's weird
It's
to have a human
weird. It's
design event in
weird.
a furniture store, but like let's bring human design to all kinds of weird places. So
Right.
um,
Yeah.
I would love to have anybody who wants to chat about how this energy is coming up for them to go ahead and
Yeah.
turn on your cameras. We are not doing the cosmic weather today because, as I said in the beginning, if you missed it, yeah, it just felt, it was starting to feel like it was just a thing I was doing just to say I did
Mhm.
it. And the idea, a lot of what we do here, I really wanted this to be playful. And there's a fine line between it being playful and it being another burden, right? It's like when you want to have all these play dates for your kids, but your kid's stressed out and your kid just needs a nap. There's only so much fun we should have. So I didn't want it to be too many things. Hi, Karen. It's good to see you. Is it cold there too? It's colder than it is by Jess. I got my two Florida gals here that are
Yeah,
freezing.
it's
I know
yeah,
I
40
get
some. It's cold.
It
I
is.
just turned off my weather alerts from Florida because my daughter used to live there and I used to get them for hurricane reasons. And I was like, I really don't need to be getting these anymore. But it sent me a notice yesterday or the day before saying it was going to be like 35 or something.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Karen, it's 35.
No.
It's so in this middle of the state, like in Mayaca's 35.
It
It was
said though
4.
in that area that there was the night before was going to go down to 35. So
Yeah.
maybe that was in St. Pete and you're just a little bit further south, so you didn't get
I'm
quite that
I'm
look.
well, I guess maybe because I'm on the coast, I'm a little bit warmer. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
right on the coast, but
Yeah.
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 I'd be
St.
like an
Pete is only
iguana.
half an hour. St. Pete is half an
Yeah, it's
hour from the
close.
coast
I
where my
know that
daughter
is
lives.
true.
So yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So awesome. How's this weather feeling, or not this cosmic weather feeling for you?
Well, it's funny because I don't like check the transits routinely. Like I'll just pop in periodically when you guys do your report. And I had a reading last week of Daljeet from we met at
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
High Desert. Yeah.
I'm
So
doing a
I
podcast with him in a couple weeks, just so you know.
Oh God, I love him. His reading was amazing. Like it really was. He spoke to me for almost 2 hours. But
Wow.
he brought up my gate 23 because I had the gate 23, but I don't have the other end, the 43. And
Mhm.
so he was saying you to like check that, start diving into what that looks like for you because it's in my Venus and it's in my moon on my personality side. And so it's funny, the last 2 days I've really been digging in and journaling about it. And so this morning I was like, saw your thing. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I knew it was
And
coming
it's on an undefined throat too, as
Uh-huh.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at
Yeah.
your chart
So
now.
yeah. So
That's
it
awesome.
resonated with me because I was reading the Book of Destinies and it was talking about how you guys were talking a little bit about it, but I tend to get myself in trouble because I speak what I'm thinking. And I have these visions and these ideas and these thoughts, and I'm seeing it. I was I always think my husband does it as a projector, but I'm seeing things in line 5, but I'm seeing things from like a different perspective. And then sometimes people get angry with me or they're frustrated or they're not hearing me. And I'm realizing to your point is like finding the right time to express those thoughts, or maybe it's not, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I've ruffled a lot of feathers over the years.
Well,
Not intentionally.
especially
I've
with
never meant to hurt somebody's feelings, but apparently I say something, it hurts their feelings because they're not
yes,
ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
especially on an undefined throat where, when you share in a way that's undefined, uninvited, and a person's not ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
there can be an amplification of things in a way that's not necessarily going to be received well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like this transit I felt big time, and I will say that it could everything works in synergy and synchronization together. So I do think that all this stuff that's been happening with the solar flares and the geostorms and the Schumann resonance and all that stuff on top of it, that's been absolutely insane, intense, is all working together, but it's all bringing us to this place of really knowing who we are. So it feels so good to have this full defined throat channel energy right now. And almost like because the last transit for me defined my sacral through my favorite gate, right? Gate 2 is what connects with my conscious sun. So I get that 14-2 channel of the beat. So I was like, ooh, this is my favorite transit. You know, these feel really good. But
Yes.
I honestly feel like this one feels just as good. So I don't know, maybe even better. I had a lot of melancholy last week. Last week was hard. Was it hard for you guys? No? Yeah, it was hard for you, Karen. Yeah, last week had a lot of melancholy kind of energy for me come up. Hi, Jillian. How are you? You got to unmute.
Thank you for doing this. I learned such a lot. And Jess, can I just say your hair looks gorgeous today? I like the
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it looks good now that you put the hood down.
Now that of course, the day I'm wearing a hoodie, right?
Yeah, right. That's funny. Okay. So, and Jillian, I see your dog is leaving you be for right now. Jillian's little dog always comes over when she's talking and is like, "No, Mom, talk to me." Who are you talking to? So,
Sounds like Savannah.
yeah, her
Oh,
four-legged baby. So, okay. And Jillian, where are you again? You're in the UK, aren't you?
I'm in the UK and I felt very melancholy last week. I didn't catch transit talk last week, so I don't know what it was, but very melancholy. And of course, we've had the big remembrance weekend here. And I was weeping watching the service. It's just like, whoa. I've got a lot of collective circuitry as well. And this morning, funny enough, you're talking about play. So, two things. One is I'm making, I'm making a, the resilience keys with Karen Curry Parker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a resiliency key wheel, which is I'm going to use like intuitively every day to say, what do I need to work on today? And then I've got
something that like spins, or
I think I'm going to use my pendulum.
yeah. Oh, I was going to just suggest that. Yeah.
If I can do an arrow and spin it. So I'm going to play with that. So that's my little play thing. I do have with Jupiter retrograde, and I'm not 100% sure what it makes, but I've got the gate 33 in my personality side with Jupiter. And I have got the feeling, the other thing I did this morning was to redesign my day, to make things more simple. And also made a conscious decision to withdraw from all the noise in the media and social media. I don't know if that's, but my North Node, I have 7.7 in line 5 on my unconscious and 33 in line 3 on my design. And then 63 in line 5 is my unconscious design sun.
Your unconscious what? Design sun, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Line 5.
So that's what keeps you healthy. According to Gene Keys, that's your radiance. That's what keeps our radiance is what keeps us healthy, our design sun. So for me, it's 59.2, which is intimacy. But at the same time, it's line 2. There's this shyness in there, right? And that's been something I've been contemplating as well, how that has been showing up for me. Yeah, I think that this is a really good week. Last week you said you missed it. I had a lot of fun with Transit Talk last week because I represented Gate 2. And I was the driver because that's the seat of the magnetic monopole.
Go,
So I
go,
was
don't tell her. Go, just watch it.
just
That
go
one,
watch it.
even the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes, it is so worth it.
Although I did realize that I did not know how to actually put sound on so you could barely hear what I was saying, and I had to
It
do a whole
doesn't
thing.
matter.
So it did, but you know what? It was one of those things that made me, as much as it was much fun,
Yeah.
it was not, it was something that made me look at this whole thing of like simplifying, because it was like it took a lot for me to make that work when I went to put it up on YouTube, because you couldn't really hear me. And so if anybody listens to it on podcast format without a visuals, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to tell what I'm saying, because I didn't know how to I didn't know how to adjust the audio volume. I didn't know to test it ahead of time. I should have done all that, but now I know for the future. But it was fun. It was a fun bit. And so it was interesting, though. I started out in a really good place because I felt like, oh, this is clever and I'm having fun and I'm just in this place. And then that whole day kept going, "Arr," because the universe kept bringing all this stuff to me and asking me, are you accepting this? Because gate 2 is all this receptivity, right? So it's like, are you accepting this? Are you going to accept this? What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this? And the gate 1 is saying, here's my direction, here's where I'm going. And there was all this like, mm. And so finally this weekend, I was like, you know what? This is the time for me to go play in my closet. And so then
I
I did,
love
and I just started this whole thing of recording my process, because people are often telling me, I want to know, share how you do it, share how you do it. And I was like, I'm doing these reels about my fashion process, but it's a Saturday afternoon. So what am I in? I'm in my sweats. And there was a part of me the whole time when I was putting together these reels that I was going, are you really going to put this up there? Do you really think anyone's going to listen to you when you look like that while you're doing it? And then I was like, you know what? In this age of AI fakeness, people are going to be, oh, she's a real person,
Yes.
right? And oh, she sometimes doesn't look good in her sweats either, because sweats, they don't hide anything. Your sweatpants, even my cute sweats, like I don't feel I look, your jeans can kind of hold things in the right places, even when they're comfy. But yeah, so it was one of those where I had to let
You
go
need a
of that whole.
dinosaur one to distract people.
That's what I do. Yes, I do need some. You'll have to send me the link to get my dinosaur sweats.
I don't even know where this is from, my friend.
I was going to ask you why you have that.
It's not even, why do I have that? Because my friends, it's not even in English. I don't even know. I'm not sure what
Okay.
language it even is.
We'll have to put that, you'll have to put that into Google Translate.
Ask it. I think it's like
Yeah.
little, it's about playful and little dinosaur or be a dinosaur. I don't know.
It's funny when, total tangent here, but I was in Thailand. My sister lives in Thailand. And we would go around and we'd look at all the stuff where they had translated stuff into English, clearly using things. So they would have things printed with English words, and like the stuff, none of it made sense. And it made me think about in the 80s, there was a big thing where people had Japanese writing on sweatshirts and stuff, and the rising sun that read, there was a really famous graphic from some album or something, and that became a big thing. And people were getting tattoos of Asian characters and stuff, Chinese characters. And then they would laugh because the Asian people would be, why does it say some dumbass thing on your arm? You don't even know. You asked and you didn't verify. So I don't know. But so it'd be interesting to know what your sweatshirt is saying.
I'm looking right now. It's trying to load it. What?
Right? It'd probably say something that's like,
It was cute. I did ask
Oh, you
for
did?
a
Okay.
translation before. I was like, I'm not walking around with something that says like something mean. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
It's Little Monster.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
Little
cute.
Monster, which I love that. So
Right?
yeah, a couple of thoughts though with last week. You know, that energy, it's that G center, right? Which is really about that direction. And if there was sadness, potentially looking at where your direction, where you're like, you should be somewhere else or should be further, or that maybe you feel a little bit lost in your sense of direction, and that self-love piece, with that gate 1 and gate 2. potentially
Yeah.
looking at those things, because it almost feels like for you, you found a new direction, and how you, not even a new direction, but fully went into your direction where your passion is, because that's so deeply what you love. And you're so good at bringing human design and that play and your closet and expressing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Connecting back in with that.
Yeah. And you know, it was interesting. Thank you. I also feel like that was interesting for me to reflect on how this whole process of me finding my own really authentic style has evolved and is still evolving, because I worked in fashion and I worked for a store that's sold mostly jeans, and most of the clothing was either bohemian or kind of a little bit like a lot of graphic t-shirts, music t-shirts, and that sort of thing. And so I found that my style was very much influenced by where I worked and what I was selling and what I was buying because of that. And so it took me a couple of years of being gone from there to where I really started to realize how different my true style was. And then I went through, so 3 years ago, this last Friday was when I started my human design business. And the very first thing that I did was to have somebody help me create a brand logo. And my logo, as everybody knows, has daisy. If you know me, you know it has daisies, and it's evolved to also have disco balls, but it used to just have daisies. And that all just came about in the creation of my logo with my name and the little daisies in it. And it came through this person telling me, pick colors that you like and that look good on you, because you're going to want those colors to be around you all the time, and what you wear shouldn't clash with it, and da 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 da. So that made me really start to realize what colors made me happy. And then I just started buying everything that was those colors because I loved it. Oh, those are my colors. Those are my colors, and it took a while for me to really simplify the process and realize that I like certain shades of colors. I liked solids with an accent piece. Like, sometimes and you can't even see like my cute little guy earrings here that I have on because of my thing. But, having just a bunch of pieces that you love without this idea of thinking, oh, everything that's my colors is me, because there's more to it than that. And so this whole process of evolving the direction, and I am really just hell-bent on people understanding that they have a whole thing of who they are that is represented inside and outside. And just like we, want to really be authentic on the inside, we want to show up in a way that really feels like us and makes us feel really good about who we are too, right?
Yeah. And
So
it's
yeah.
kind of cool to see, because when I was in Oslo, it was so interesting. So, day one of the conference, I had my red dress on, red lipstick, heels. It was amazing. I was part of welcoming people. And the next day, we stayed up late. I showed up with my sweatshirt. I had my leggings on. And the one person came up to me. They're like, whoa, are you the same person? Yep, it's me. She's, I like you better in sweatpants. And I was, can you love all parts of me? I was like, sometimes you're going to get like a flashy, beautiful dress, and sometimes I'm going to show up in the sweatpants, and, all iterations, and they all feel really, really good, because I feel like sometimes you can feel stuck. I am this red dress. I always
Yes.
look like this, right? Or sometimes you're stuck in like, having kids. It's, I always have the mom clothes. What's the easy roll out of bed, pajamas, dropping the kids off? That it gets to also be a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a part of me. So this is really great because I feel like this takes me back to, I want to say, at least 10 years ago, maybe more. I was going to do this whole style thing in person. I was going to go to people's closets with them and help them do exactly what we talked about. And I did it with some friends, and it was really transformative for them. I mean, literally, people were like, oh my God, this changed my life type of thing. And then I thought about doing it for strangers. And that felt so vulnerable because there was this idea that I thought I had to be this perfect person. And when you think about even like the YouTube channels that are out there, there's all these people who are talking about style, and they are always, all put together. And I think that we want somebody to look like somebody we want to listen to. But I do think there's also a, um, and I'm sorry, I saw Jillian's message. You'd love, uh, I'll be right over. Jillian wants me to come and style her in the UK. So
Then you can
You
come to
need an
Belfast.
assistant. Yeah, hold on. You need an assistant when you go to the UK. I'll
Yeah.
come with you.
okay.
And
I
then
know
we'll
human
go over-
design friends in the UK.
Then you can come visit me in Belfast.
Yes.
Penny
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's right, because you're moving. You haven't moved yet, though.
I haven't moved
So,
yet.
but the thing is, I stopped myself from doing anything with this as a career, even though I really wanted to, because I thought, well, I'm gonna have to have a nicer car because my car is older. And then I thought, I'm gonna have to start getting in the habit of doing my nails. I don't like to do my nails. It's just not a thing I to do. I don't like the chemicals of it. I don't, it's just not a me thing. I use clean makeup. I have not found a non-toxic nail polish, and I will sometimes do my toenails in the summer, but I don't like to wear fake nails or anything like that. And I'm not judging anyone who does, it's just not me. So, but I got in this idea that I had to be a certain kind of way. But what human design has really helped me to see is I get to be all parts of me. I get to do all the things that are truly me. And when I do that, the people who want that are going to be drawn to that. The people who want someone who's always putting on and I'm not saying that any of these people are fake. Some of them might be like that. I had a friend back in the 80s, and I stayed at her house one time, and literally with just me there, she came out of the bathroom with her hair still in a towel and all of her makeup on and a really pretty robe. And when she went to go to bed at night, I did not see her before she went to bed, like went in, took all her makeup. I've never saw this friend ever without a full face of makeup and done up. That was just how she was. And it made me think of that show. Have you seen the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? It was a comedy. And they showed how she would lay in bed with her husband, and then when he'd fall asleep, she'd get up and she'd go wash off her face, put on her cold cream, and then she would get up before he got up and then put her makeup on, lay back down and pretend she was asleep. And I'm not going to be that person, right? And I'm not going to not show up just like, so that's why I have reels where I'm in sweats and I'll put on a little lipstick and I'll brush through my hair, but whatever. That was a real long ramble. I'm sorry. You, Yes, you may offer whatever you would like, Jillian. You have an open
There's-
invitation for your
when you
manifestor
were on
wisdom.
the call earlier with Vicky D, which was
Can you speak a little louder? It's just kind of hard to hear you.
Yeah, this is unusual. Nobody has ever told me I'm quiet in my life before.
No, I think it's your audio. It's your microphone is not very loud.
I need to do something. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. We were talking about how we engage with our audience and nurture our audience and clients. And whilst Vicky was talking about that, what came to me, because I'd seen a tiny snippet of you with your clothes rack, and I also recalled when you were doing your dance thing, and I felt very strongly that that's how Kathy engages, but also nurtures her audience in a sort of more energetic way. So I just thought I'd feed that back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, well, that was interesting. We went on a whole tangent about my playing in my closet that I hadn't expected to talk about today. And I really have appreciated this. If anybody has anything else they want to say in hindsight, I think Jess and I are going to have a little chat after this about how we might want to simplify the way we do things. I think kind of getting back to this, I feel like this is what the initial intention of this transit talk was, to have these conversations, to have that bit at the beginning where we talk about the specifics, but then to have this time where people can really talk about where things are showing up. And yeah, I still will dress up sometimes, and sometimes I'll just put a picture up or whatever. I like that. But if anybody has any thoughts they want to share in the comments or whatever about what they like and would like to see different about these, that would be great. And if you have anybody has any closing thoughts before I call in my balloons.
No, it's just nice to catch up with you both.
Yeah, stay warm.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Peace out, everybody.